Okay, I've tried twice now to get this video started while wearing my handy gas mask. And I was gonna go without showing my face for the whole series, but by goodness, I really can't. Like, it is atrocious to read and breathe in that gas mask. So, if you clicked on this video, hopefully you're gonna enjoy yourself. If you don't know what this channel's about, go read the about, that'd probably help, the channel description. So, I'm just gonna hop right into it, just like as if this weren't a channel that is starting right now. I'm going to be reading the first chapter today of a story called A Wilting Rose. I don't know if you can hear me cracking my knuckles or not. I just realized that. A Wilting Rose is a story I'm writing, and basically it's about an alternate RWBY universe carrying along the same storyline, but a different loss at first, resulting in Summer Rose's life being saved. Who dies in place of Summer Rose? How will this new figure affect the future of the RWBY series? Find out in A Wilting Rose. Now, for those of you who don't know, in RWBY Season 3, in the intro, there's a picture, and in the picture there's 4 people, and going from left to right, it's Summer Rose, then it's Ty, then it's Raven, and then it's Crow. And Summer Rose is actually the stepmother to Yang, and the biological mother of RWBY. So, it's going to sound a little ridiculous, because I don't normally say this first line, ever. Like, even when I was little, I never said this, so. Will you be back soon, Mommy? Little Yang asks, looking up innocently to her stepmother. Yes, little dragon, Summer responds with a smirk and a chuckle. And I promise to make you a fresh batch of cookies when I return. A bright, charismatic smile spreads across Yang's face at this comment, and as she wraps her stepmother into an embrace, laughing joyfully. But Summer begins, and Yang becomes curious. You have to take care of your sister while Pop and I are gone. Another smile, followed by furious nodding and promise. Okay, if I say squiggly lines or transition, they both mean transition, because I like to put down 3 of those little tilles for like a transition thing. Okay. Summer! Summer! A voice beckons, and the woman adjusts the hood of her cloak before turning toward the source. We have to go, now! Ty shouts over the loud roars and the sounds of fighting. With a shaky nod, Summer grabs her rapier off the ground and stands up, ready to push to escape. Crow soars over top of the 2, flipping forward with his scythe and skewering the head of a Beowulf. With a cocky smirk, he turns to Summer and Ty for praise. As Summer begins to flash him a warm-hearted motherly smile, her face instantly changes as she sees a large Grim rapidly approaching behind Crow. With lightning speed, she raises her rapier and dashes forward, pushing past Ty and Crow. As she lurches forward to attack, a crimson portal appears above the Grim, and out comes a figure dressed in scarlet that stabs through the Grim's shoulder, pinning it to the ground. Silence treads thin ice between Summer and the figure, like old friends trying to build one bridge to another. Wow, that was a choppy sentence. Raven, Summer raises her free hand towards the figure, but the woman simply walks backward into a new portal, disappearing again. Summer Rose stands there for a moment, her hand raised as if Raven were still there, when Ty slides into the scene beside her, cold cocking a Beowulf in the jaw. Crow's hand rests on her shoulder and begins to drag her away from the scene. Summer regains her train of thought, and then they begin to sprint toward the large wall that lay miles ahead of them. Okay, so I'm talking about like a wall around, like Beacon's City and stuff, which I can't currently recall the name of. Yeah, I typed this on my phone, so the first chapter, occasionally chapters are going to be a little bit choppy because there will be random autocorrect moments, so Summer regains her train of thought. Summer trails slightly behind Ty and Crow, following her motherly instinct to protect the 2. Crow lifts his scythe up and slams it into the ground, propelling himself upward to gain some ground. Ty! Summer shouts, and the man turned towards her. Crow managed to land atop the wall, and now it was up to Summer and Ty to get up there as well. Ty nods curtly to Summer, reluctantly doing what he knows she wants him to do. She twists her rapier's handle in her hand, finding a small silver button with her thumb. After pressing it, the blade of the rapier extends slightly, becoming bits of blade connected by whip, Okay, so that's a little bit weird when it's on paper. Um, just kind of imagine like my hand and how it goes, spreads out like that. It's really weird to describe this. I never talk about RWBY with people. So, yeah, this is just the kind of weapon I imagine that she would have. So, yeah. Do 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 do. Ty reaches out as Summer whips the weapon forward, catching him by the wrist with it. Following a smooth spin around Summer, Ty is launched through the air and nearly up on the wall where Crow helps him up. Now the men are forced to watch their team member as she rapidly approaches the base of the wall. Sorry, I just had dinner earlier. Bracing, Summer proceeds to stop short, confusing the Grimm as they slide past her accidentally. As Summer stopped, she kneeled to the ground, with her force now driven beneath her legs. Summer launches straight into the sky, her whip dangling just below her. As Summer snaps her whip forward, the scene becomes a grainy gray through her eyes, showing her a view of falling from her perspective. So, like, she's going up, and she can tell that she's going up, but all of a sudden she starts seeing it like she's falling down, like those little optical illusion sort of things. Summer's breath catches for a moment, causing her whip to falter, but Crow flings his scythe outward, allowing Summer's whip to grab on, and he pulls her up. Breathing heavily, Summer leans forward with her hands on her knees. Summer's vision flickers slightly before finally returning to normal colors once again. Some? Ty asks, lightly placing his hand on Summer's shoulder. Through gasping breaths, Summer responds, I'm fine. Ty and Crow look to one another, weary of their teammate's condition. What happened out there? Crow asks, stroking his currently barely visible beard growing in. I don't, Ty begins, when Summer abruptly and against her usual nature interrupts him. Nothing happened. I'm fine, she snaps upward, her breathing now returned to normal and her posture as usual, slightly slouching. The men look to one another, shrug, and the trio begin to walk away from the battle, watching as overhead the Atlas army soars into action. Summer glances back at the scene once more, catching a faint, gray glimpse of her falling once again, before pulling her hood up and walking away with Crow and Ty. Transition, scrolling, transition. Oh, wait, too far? Okay. So basically what you just saw, to explain it, was that, like, that was supposed to be where Summer dies, since they haven't exactly explained how she actually dies yet. I just decided to make up my own for this. Basically, she was supposed to reach the top of the wall, but, like, something happens and she falls, and she was gonna get killed by the Grimm. So, Summer taps her fingers on the bottom of her rapier's handle as it sits in its sheath. So it's like tip, 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 as if it were right here. Tip, tip, tip. Oh, that is awkward to explain, huh? The walk home had been long, yet uneventful. Crow split away from the two at one point, presumably to chase down some poor damsel in distress that truly needs an alcoholic jackass. Ty and Summer took the time to enjoy silence, a rare commodity of theirs whenever they travel with their dear teammate. Here comes the awkward part again. Mommy! Daddy! Looks like Little Dragon is excited to see us, huh? Summer asks, being the first of the two to speak for miles. Ah well, quiet was getting boring anyway. Ty winked to Summer, and Summer responds with a happy smirk before turning back to the path before them. Two young girls, Yang standing the oldest at 6 and RWBY the youngest at 4, dart down the dirt road towards the hunter and huntress. RWBY ran a bit faster than Yang despite being younger. Summer always told Ty that may be a resemblance, but Ty sort of poofed it aside and went on with life. Yang trailed slightly behind her sister, which is how Summer and Ty became alerted. Little Dragon's face suddenly dropped in horror as she watched. She screamed to RWBY, warning her to get out of the way, but that only encouraged the attack. A Beowulf snuck behind Summer and Ty, but because they were not afraid, it did not stay hooked onto them. That's my dog. If I had a good enough computer, I would edit this out. I'm sorry. When a little blonde girl that sees her first Grimm cries out. Okay, that sentence was kind of weird. So basically, the Beowulf was sneaking up on Summer and Ty, but that was just because he saw them, or it saw them, and then, like, it instantly hooked onto Yang when it sensed her fear, because that was their first time seeing a Grimm. So the Beowulf barrels between the hunters, charging directly for Yang. RWBY was running with her eyes closed, but as she peeks them open, she doesn't have enough time to move. The Grimm slams RWBY to the ground, crushing the girl beneath its weight, and it continues running. Summer cries out, too shocked from the hurried event to do anything. Luckily for all of them, Ty was able to use his shock as anger, and sprinted forward with amazing speed, grabbing the Beowulf by its hind legs and pulling them out from beneath it. Ty stomps on both of the Beowulf's ankles before leaping into the air, his hands locked together, and he swings downward with a mighty clubbing motion. The Beowulf whimpers in agony before practically evaporating in the black mist. Alright, so no one could tell me how to describe this, so I just kind of had to describe it. It's like this. Okay. Breathing heavily, Ty kneels on the ground where the Beowulf once stood. The air is tense with silence, only broken by the three's shaky breath and the quiet drips of tears on the hard dirt. Summer is slumped on the ground, her vision flickering between grainy gray and normal once again. This time, Summer sees Ty walking along the path with Crow, their faces both strong yet pained. Yang runs up to the two, wondering where her mother is, with RWBY following suit. Ty kneels down and begins to explain that their mother wasn't coming home again. Crow turns from the girls, wiping away at his sore red eyes. He's the only one to notice the Grimm slowly approaching, and with a loud smash, he unsheathes his sword, slamming the end of the blade into the ground. Ty spins around, putting his arms out to protect the crying girls. Crow watches as the Beowulf sprints toward the family, and another tear falls lonesome down the man's face. Crow swings his sword upward, slashing the Beowulf directly through the center, causing it to evaporate into black mist. Summer's vision returns, and she cries more as Ty begins to comfort the remaining girl. Yang watches through bleary eyes over her father's shoulder as her mother stands up, leaving for the last time. Or so she thought. That was Chapter 1, The Last Stand of A Wilting Rose. So, thank you for tuning into this. This was my first video on this channel. I've done other videos on many other channels, so, thank you. This is my first time doing a video of this kind, though, so thank you. I think I said that like 4 times now. Have a good one.